Lorraine is in Chelmsford. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hello there, Katie, Mike.
Thanks for calling. What do you want to say?
Well, I just would like to say that I completely agree. I'm glad that Boris has actually brought this subject up of the full burqa. I have no... I don't mind the scarf because you can at least see the person's face. But when it's covering the full face, I find it highly offensive, actually.
Have you seen it being worn, say, for example, in an official role, or is it just when you see people walking down the street you don't like it?
Well, I was born in East Ham.
Okay.
Right.
Lovely part of the world.
It was when I was younger. Character's completely gone now. But I have to say that you drive from Whitechapel down to Goodmayes, Ilford, Barking, Bethnal Green. It doesn't represent anything English now. You could be in a completely different continent.
Yeah, but I've driven down there quite a lot, Lorraine, because I live in East London as well. And, you know, I think when I drive down past that big mosque, which is on its way, when you go down towards Bethnal Green and all of that, you know, it looks fine to me. I mean, it looks different. It looks, you know, exotic in some ways. You see a lot of people wearing Arab-type clothes, or you see a lot of people with brown skin, but that doesn't really bother me. I don't really mind that. Do you mind that?
What I said to you is I don't mind the scarf. It's the full burqa that I don't like, the full face covering.
Yeah. Do you find it intimidating?
Sorry?
Do you find it intimidating in terms of,
I find it intimidating and I find it offensive because what it says to me is that I don't want to have any interaction with you. I want to hide behind my veil and live in my own culture. It doesn't matter that my identity and culture has been eroded, which it has.
Do you really think that, though?
Oh, that's how I feel. I completely feel
Why do you feel as if your culture's been eroded, Lorraine?
Yes, I do.
Why, though?
The identity of East London certainly has been. But, of course, it's not just East London, is it? There's many cities in this town, in this country now, that have gone the same way. But
cities change. I mean, I grew up in North London, right? Kilburn, when I grew up, used to be a very Irish part of the world, OK? And Kilburn had loads of Irish pubs. Many of them collected money for the IRA. Many of them now don't exist anymore because the Irish have kind of moved out of Kilburn and it's not any longer a very Irish place. Now, that doesn't mean that it's...
But now that's gone all Turkish, hasn't it?
I don't know. I wouldn't say Turkish.
I mean, I know London quite well.
Yeah.
I feel...
I go to Kilburn a reasonable amount. I wouldn't say it's particularly Turkish. I mean, if you're talking about the Edgware Road, there's plenty of...
I have to say that I feel that now the whole basic... They don't... What's shocking is that a lot of these... the women and girls in full burqas actually have got London accents. That's, you know, so...
How do you know that?
Well, because you hear them walking along the road on their iPhones swearing. Right. So they're not even that religious because you want to hear the language that comes out of them.
Uh-huh. Well, so I don't understand why it bothers you so much, Lorraine.
Because I actually want to have my children live in a country where at least the identity, culture and traditions is up at the foremost. And I can see it sliding away through political correctness and liberalism.
So what would you like to do about it then? What would you like to do about it?
Well, I think
you were Prime Minister for a day and you could make some laws that would bring back what you want.
I don't believe that they should. If they wanted to integrate, they wouldn't cover their face, that's for sure. Okay, they don't want to. The whole.
Well, you don't know who they're talking to on the iPhones. Maybe they're talking to some people down the road who are not wearing burqas.
No, they don't. I've seen them all walking to school, taking their children to school in the full burqa on their phones.
And what about the school children?
Oh, a lot of them have got their little scarves on. Tiny little children with scarves on.
Well, I don't understand why it bothers you so much.
I've just told you, because my identity and culture...
Well, how does somebody else wearing something change your identity?
Well, you could be in another continent now, walking in East London, in another continent.
Yeah, but what's wrong with that? Do you not? I mean, there's a lot of great Asian restaurants in that part of the world, which I go to from time to time. I mean, if people who you say are changing the culture of this country didn't live here, then we wouldn't have any Indian restaurants or Asian restaurants, would we? I
think you're going from one extreme to the other now, Mike.
Oh, really?
Yes, I do. I mean, if you actually want to know, we've seen demonstrations now of is Muslims there. They want a caliphate, and unfortunately, That's where it's
I don't
going.
really believe that story.
I do.
No.
I do believe that.
No, I don't believe
No, they
that.
do. They do, Mike. They do not want to integrate in Europe. The thing is, it's happening throughout the West.
Okay.
What is clear, though, is that there's a failure to integrate in one way or another. And I think that some of the things you've talked about in terms of language and in terms of, barriers such as what people wear, but also I think there's a failure from our communities to not want to integrate too. And I've got great examples of some of my friends and family that just suddenly, don't want, are scared by what the change, because change is happening so quick amongst so many of our communities, and it's hard to get our heads around it. But
Katie,
some of the things you've said a couple of
communicate
times,
with someone that covers their face.
you can talk to them and
No,
say,
you can't. They don't
would you
want
take
to.
it off if you came to our
Katie,
house?
Katie, they turn their back on you. You can tell the body language even under their shrouding. They turn their back
I
on
think
you.
that's really sad. You might be
Lorraine-
right, but it's really sad.
But Lorraine, it's a relatively small number of people you're talking about here, isn't it? I mean, because most Muslim women actually do not wear a cover over their head at all.
Walk down Barking High Street, Mike. Go to Barking. Go to Ilford.
Lorraine,
It's not a
I
small
went
number
to
at all.
university in Leicester, and I turned up. I went from a very white community in southeast London, an area where BNP was a stronghold. And I rocked up to Leicester, and I didn't know anyone or anything. And I was just clearly in my university class. At some times, I was the odd one out. And I thought, I've got two ways here. I can either try and befriend these people that I don't know, and they're completely different from me. Their cultures are totally different from me, and I was quite scared. Or I get stuck in, or I just retreat home again.
Yeah.
And
Can I just say something to you?
Mm-hmm.
We do not have a problem with Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs. Well, some people do with the Jews on the left, but I certainly don't.
What about turbans?
I don't even have a
You don't mind people wearing turbans?
I just have a problem with people covering their faces.
Well, you said you didn't like the scarves either.
No, I said I don't mind the
she said
scarf.
you didn't mind the scarves, but also it's
Well,
about
you
the
didn't like
change.
children wearing the scarves, though.
I don't like to see 4 or 5-year-old children with a scarf.
So there you
on,
go.
No,
And what's different about turban then?
nothing. It's because they communicate with me.
So
They
it's not
talk to
actually
me.
it's not the item of clothing then.
It's the fact that they do not. No, it's not. And it's not anything to do with where they come from. It's the fact that they cover their face.
Maybe they think you're a bit hostile, Lorraine.
No, it's not me being hostile. It's the body language that I get from them.
I'm just sad because I think that what you are showing is upset and anger over this. So, I can tell that you're upset by it.
I see where I come from as completely destroyed. The culture, the identity, and the tradition of where I come from in East London.
How can we
Barking,
repair that?
Ilford, East Ham has been completely destroyed. There you go. That's how I feel.
How can we repair that, though?
Where have all the people that you regard as the holders of British heritage, where have they all gone?
Well,
Hey?
well,
I mean,
it's
if they
my
live there still, they must have all moved away, right?
yeah, I wonder
Well, why did they move away?
Because the culture's changed.
No, well, it wouldn't have changed if they hadn't moved. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, do you know what? My auntie said to me, you won't like this. My old auntie said to me, the Germans couldn't bomb us out.
And what did she say after that?
Well, what would you think?
Well, I don't know. You tell me.
Because the neighbours that have come there do not want to integrate. If they've got
Well, hang on. You're telling me that you're telling me effectively that some people moved into an area and the people who were already living there moved away, and it's the people who moved in that didn't want to integrate. Surely the people that didn't want to integrate were the ones that moved away.
Well, what happened then in up north?
Up
what
north?
happened in Luton?
Well,
Tell us that.
Well, I can't imagine why anyone would want to live in Luton.
Well, there you go. Why wouldn't anyone want to live in Luton?
Well, it's a pretty horrible place, Luton. It's always been horrible.
Why is that?
Luton.
Why is it a horrible place?
It's just a horrible place. I've never liked it.
Yeah, why? Why is that?
Well, because it's in the middle of Hertfordshire, but it's a very, very unfortunate.
Slough.
It's just a horrible. It's got the town centre looks awful. It's got right near an airport, which is really bad. It's just not a very nice place.
I have to say, Mike, the fact is, if they want to, the trouble with the full face veil, it says, I do not want to integrate with you, and that's it.
So
And do you want to integrate with them, as you call them?
Oh, I integrate with. I've got neighbours from all places. I've
Really?
got Muslim neighbours that
Right.
I get on very well with. Thank you very much. But they don't cover their face.
Okay. Well, what do they say when you tell them about the face covering that you don't like?
A lot of them agree with me.
Okay, so it's not all Muslims then, as I've told
no,
you.
who said it was?
Well, I said it's a small number of people that you seem to object to.
I said I don't like the full
No,
face
I understand
mask.
that, but there's not every Muslim that wears it.
I haven't said they are. I said I don't mind the scarf when you can see their face and
Okay.
they can talk to you.
All right.
Don't try and change my words, Mark.
I'm not doing
Yes,
that,
you
Lorraine.
are.
No, not at all. That's not
Yes,
my
you are.
game. No, but it's very good that you rang up and told us what you think, and thank you very much indeed. Lorraine from Chelmsford there doesn't think that Muslims want to integrate, apart from some Muslims who do want to integrate. It seems a bit confused. Gladys is in Chippenham in Wiltshire. Hello, Gladys.
Hi, Gladys.
Hello.
Hello. What would you like to say, Gladys? Welcome to the show.
I would like to say that Boris should not apologise. He's
Yes.
standing up for free speech. He's actually, if anyone bothered to read the article, was standing up for the women's right to choose what they want to wear. And then he says, well, I think it's rather stupid to wear it, wear something that makes you look like whatever. And if we...
He's also not calling for it to be banned, is he?
No, absolutely. So why don't people pick on that instead of two words, which is very British in the kind of humour we're used to. And by the way, although I sound a little bit British, I've lived, like Boris, in many, many parts of the world. I am not at all racist, but I am for free speech. And if we ban women or we persecute women for wearing crosses underneath their blouses when they go to work, then why are Muslim women allowed to wear what they are allowed to wear in this country?
Well, surely everybody should be allowed to wear what they want, Gladys, shouldn't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then why pick on Christians?
Well, there
They
was only,
shouldn't.
there
It
was
was very
only,
wrong to do
there's
so.
only been one or two cases where Christian women have been picked on, and it was specific to a situation. They were wrong to have done it. I agree with you, but it's not the case. It's not true to say that women or men are not allowed to wear crosses in under their uniforms if they wish to. What they're not allowed to do, I think, is wear them visibly in some companies because some companies don't like it. Now, in the same way that some companies will say you can't wear shorts to work. I mean, it's for me that's okay, isn't it?
Well, no, that's absolutely okay. But then why are other people allowed to wear what is basically a Muslim or a religious outfit to work? Because I'm mixed up with the one that covers it fully and the one that covers...
Well, I'm told the
head.
burqa is the one that covers your full face, right?
Yes.
And niqab is more the one which has the sort of the slit, as Boris Johnson describes, the letterbox sort of look.
Okay,
but
so-
the point for me is I'm not sure you're right to say that they're allowed to wear these things to work. I mean, if you come through passport control, for example, and you come back to Heathrow Airport from a journey abroad, you do not get welcomed by a customs officer wearing. I've never seen a customs officer wearing a burqa or a niqab. I'm pretty sure that's not allowed. I don't
Okay,
think
good.
I don't think that they're generally. I mean, these are women who are wearing them for whatever reason.
The
Like I
majority
said,
of them won't be in full-time employment, just because you don't see lots of people in the office wearing burqas and
no.
niqabs, do you really?
I mean, there's nobody here wearing one.
No, you
what I can tell.
don't see it very often.
No.
But you do
All right,
see
all
it in
right.
certain communities.
And to be
around
honest,
the
Gladys,
country.
I'm less concerned about the specifics of that. I think Boris did right about the burqa and niqab for a particular reason, right? He's put it out there. I don't particularly care one way or the other whether people wear them. I don't particularly want to
Me
see
too.
them banned. I'm quite happy about it.
I'm just annoyed that people pick on this to try and bring him down. And yes, I think, as Katie says, when he's out and about, he is intelligent. He knows how to talk to people about any subject they throw at him. What else do you want in a prime minister?
Right. So
except
would you
that-
like to see him as Prime Minister?
Well, yes, as a Conservative Party member and former chairman of two associations, I would, yes.
Okay, well, I think you're right, and I agree with you, Gladys, so thank you very much for your call.